This September 11th will be 20 years since the horrific attacks that changed our world forever happened. To commemorate this solemn anniversary and what we learned in the aftermath of that day, the National September 11th Memorial and Museum is launching a national campaign to help future generations understand the lessons of 9/11. Alice Greenwall, President and CEO of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, joins us now to talk about this. Good morning, Alice. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Before we talk a little bit about the actual new campaign, I want to talk about the lessons that you feel we should be learning, simply because, and as I was reading in the press material here, essentially every person 25 years and younger has no living memory of 9/11.
That's right. When you think about 20 years, first of all, it's a shock for those of us who witnessed the attacks 2 decades ago. It's hard to believe that it's 20 years already. But 20 years is the span of a generation. And so you have an entire generation of young people, born, after the event, people who were toddlers, too young to remember the event. And the number is something in the range of 100 million people who have no lived memory of 9/11. So for them, this is a subject of history that needs to be learned. And we recognize that as we enter the third decade after 9/11, that our obligation as an institution, a commemorative and educational institution, is that we're here to teach the next generation. And what they need to know is not only what happened, because they live in a world that continues to be impacted by the ongoing repercussions of the attacks 20 years ago, but they also need to know how we responded as a nation and as a global community. 9/11 was a shock to everyone. And in the aftermath of it, in the shared grief around the world, we came together. And there was this sense of unity. There was a sense of compassion, that we were in it together. There was empathy, lived, active empathy. And out of that empathy, out of that compassion, out of that coming together, we were able to be resilient as a nation, as a city, as a nation. And, we believe that lesson that we have the capacity within us to meet adversity with hope and resilience and unity, that is how we can overcome challenges that were unforeseen and unimaginable. That's a lesson we need to remember now. Mm-hmm. And it's as much a part of the 9/11 story as the events themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's part of it's an unfortunate part of the American story here as we live it in the year 2021. Alice, talk to us a little bit about this new national campaign, the PSA, the Never Forget Fund.
Yes, thank you. So we've just launched a campaign, Never Forget. And you can go to neverforget.org and learn more about it, that focuses on this generational transition from memory to history. And the PSA, which I hope everyone will have an opportunity to see, features a young woman. Her name is Chloe Downey. She's the granddaughter of a firefighter, a very celebrated, courageous firefighter by the name of Chief Ray Downey, who was head of special operations for the FDNY and did lose his life on 9/11. She's never known her grandfather. She was born long after 9/11, but she is filled with the stories of him because her family holds his memory dear. And it is a video that shows her moving through the museum as a way to not only pay respects to her grandfather, but to learn about the history, the courage and sacrifice of the first responders, the incredible response of the community and the nation in the aftermath, to be instructed about hope in the face of challenges and adversity. So it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I'm just honored and thrilled that John Legend agreed to allow us to use his magnificent song, which he performs, Never Break, We Will Never Break, which is, of course, the legacy of 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet it's emotional. I just thinking of it, it makes me it makes you feel. It brings back something that we felt that day, maybe not as intense, but certainly some memories for us. And then finally, there is that Never Forget ticket. Proceeds from the ticket and any other contributions go to support the memorial and museum's educational programs. You mentioned the website for Never Forget. Is there another website our viewers should go to if they want to contribute to this continuing education and to this great institution?
Thank you so much. Yes, well, you can make the contribution through neverforget.org, but you can also go to 9/11memorial.org. There are tremendous resources on the website, instructions and guidelines for how to visit, how to book a visit at the museum, and you can also learn more about the Never Forget initiative and our many really remarkable educational programs for children, teacher training, and so forth that we do here at the museum by going to 9/11memorial.org.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in there. Alice, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.